Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Get Out of Rap. Back by overwhelming public demand is, and I haven't checked this, but I'm pretty certain, the most, what's the word? He's been on the most, let's say. He's a guest that has been every year with me through all five, nearly 6 years of the podcast. He's come on and entertained us all. It's the legend, Chris Rainsforth.
Hello, mate. You definitely had nothing better to do this afternoon. That's why I'm here. So yes, nice to be back, mate.
It's good to have you back. There was a stage, wasn't there? I think year two of the podcast where if I was at a loose end, I'd just drop you a WhatsApp
What are you
and,
doing?
and would get on
Fancying that?
and would have a chat. So Chris of the Forum, amazing organization, amazing set of people, and Chris.
Yeah, but 100%, I'm just the eye candy. The rest of the team, they're the grafters.
So start of the year, we're into it now. What is going on at the forum? What have you got coming up, and what are the things that why are you doing them?
Yeah, no. So exciting for us. 2025 is our 25th anniversary. So
Congrats.
we were formed kind of March 2000 by Paul Smedley. Uh, and this sees our 25th anniversary year. So again, it's a proud moment for us that I've been in and around the business for a long time, to really see the evolution of what's happened over the last 25 years. What it's allowed us to do is do a lot of looking back over 25 years to allow us to think about what the next 5, 10, 15, 25, and beyond would look like. So we've just launched our best practice program for this year. So we launched that a couple of weeks ago. And for the first time ever, at launch of the best practice program, we did our first edition of the best practice guide for the year. So for those that have known us for a while, turn up in April at our in-person conference, and you get yourself a nice copy of the best practice guide. It's been available digitally for the last few years as well. This year, just because of the way the industry's changing and the way conversations are evolving, we've decided to do it slightly differently. So we launched version one a couple of weeks ago. You can go to the website, download it now. You don't have to be a member to download the best practice guide. You can go get it. It's a free resource, which we are very proud of. And that's a selection of articles, discussions, and content from ourselves at the forum and a lot of our members and some of our associates that we kind of work alongside, giving their thoughts on, certain topics that are of interest for us in the industry at the minute. So version one's out now. We are currently writing additional content for version two. And version two will be released as traditional at our April event, where it'll be available in print and again as an amended download. And then we'll do a version three, saying confidently, in the summer. So for those that know, we've started our award judging for this year this week, and we will release version three of the best practice guide in the summer to go alongside our summer showcase day, which is an opportunity for our award winners and finalists to share their stories to the rest of our member base. And we're going to release a version three, which will include the case studies of this year's award entries. So we started that process as well. So not only are we currently writing the new content for April, as we go through the judging, we're writing the case studies ready for June. So we're a bit ahead of ourselves for that, but we're getting there. It's busy, so we've got a lot coming up. So that's the first thing we've done. That's the best practice guide is out, and the best practice program has been launched.
I do
Um,
have to say, Chris, just to interject there slightly, it's very rare that you get a best practice guide that you go through cover to cover and it adds real value. A lot of those that you can see out there that you download, you might find a few nuggets, but they're interspersed with lots of adverts and things like that. The best practice guide year on year, and I think well there is a question, but it is just so invaluable to teams, to operations that they can go through it and think how might we get better. You guys are writing it, but how much of it is born out of your members and their kind of journeys and what they've been doing?
Uh, I would say pretty much 100% of it in some way, shape, or form, right? So we spend pretty much all our time speaking to our members outside of the stuff that we deliver. We spend a lot of time, right? So, today, even before speaking to you, Martin, I've spoken to four members, varying length of time between kind of half an hour to an hour with each of those organisations to understand what their challenges are, what they're hoping to achieve this year, where they might need support to achieve that. And we do that a lot, and then we take that learning as a team to go, right, what things are interesting people, what are they talking about? Funnily enough, it's not as much AI heavy as you'd think, right? But we, you kind of, when you get into the nooks of what the actual issues that people are facing, um we because we've now got that breadth of kind of discussion happening within the member base, we can then start to piece these things together and go, actually, I've had four conversations this week about absence management, or I've had five conversations this week around agent well-being, or whatever those things might be. And you can start to go, right, this is where our members need support. So
Mm.
let's go out and try and find good examples of people solving those issues, and then we can bring them then to our members either through the best practice guide, through the networking sessions, through the sessions that we run at conferences. So everything that we build should be built on the back of what we think, based on the conversations you're having, people are going to be interested in, because they need to know how to kind of solve that issue or challenge that thinking or whatever it might be.
And I interrupted you there, mate, as well, though. So
But
where were you going?
I can't remember. It's Friday afternoon, mate. Um, Yeah, so that was the first bit. So, best practice program launched, and then the best practice guide alongside it, which is new for us. We're moving towards our first kind of set of events for the year. So our virtual networking kicks off again in a couple of weeks for our planning, insight, and operational improvement networking groups. We've been running a few special interest groups in the background around things like absence and holiday management and various other bits and pieces. So that'll give us, again, an opportunity to understand where people are being challenged, to help kind of understand where we can support. And then we go in then feet first into our first kind of conference season, essentially. So we've got virtual conference starting on the Monday, the 24th of March. I should know that. I'm sure I'm right. 24th of March for our virtual conference. So we've got loads of good stuff planned for that week. The agenda's kind of going up on the website. It's there now. There's, we're still kind of piecing it together, but there's some good opportunity to looking at things that we feel allow us to get into a bit more detail virtually. What we find is when you go to, expos or conferences, it's, everything's high level. And what we try to do with the virtual conference is take it down to the real detail of a topic, so we can understand it. So, for example, if I think of a couple of sessions that we're running, we've got one you're going to help me with around the future role of the team leader. Hoping you've not forgot. That's what you're going to do, because I've already said
I
you're going to.
haven't forgotten.
So we're going to look at the future of the team leader. You're going to help me with. We're going to look at things like machine learning, AI, but how that can be used to drive better decision making and quicker action. So not necessarily about its application, not necessarily about the different tools that are available, but actually where we've got some practical examples of people using elements of that technology to improve decision making and create a quicker action and a resolution. So that'll be really interesting.
Mm.
Reason why we kind of focus on that bit, we see a lot of stuff saying this is what it can do, but we're not seeing a lot of real life stories of people making it work yet. Those case studies haven't evolved yet from the kind of tech companies, kind of sales pitches, for want of a better phrase. So we're going to start seeing some of those, where people use some of these tools to actually drive decision making, drive action. So that'll be interesting. We're going to look at things. We do a lot of benchmarking, so we're going to look at some of the benchmarking we've done this year to go, these are what the real issues are in the industry, not what we're being told they are. this is where people are having issues. So we'll do some stuff around that, get into that, doing something around complaint management, which I think is really interesting. So I've titled it "Fix It or Face It." There's another F after that, but I can't put that out on thing. But if you use your imagination, you can probably get there. But that whole idea of that, no matter what we do in this industry, people always complain about something. So there's stuff that deserves our attention, so we can go away and fix it. There's things that we just have to face up to. And if we face up to it, how do we deal with it in a way that then kind of creates that customer loyalty and whatever it might be? So we're looking at complaints and complaints handling, complaints management in what the new world might look like. And just accepting that as an industry, when we're dealing with customers, there's going to be complaints. So how do we make sure we're doing it in the right way? So there's a lot of good different stuff going on. Data governance is in there. We're looking at some of the pure planning principles around forecasting in real time, various other bits and pieces. But there's a load of stuff going on, and the beauty of it is you can just dip in and out. Uh,
Yeah.
you can have a look and you can go, I fancy that hour on Tuesday afternoon. I'll go spend an hour watching and listening to somebody talk on a topic that I'm interested in. And then, it's on demand immediately after it's been broadcast. So it's available for anybody anytime, which really helps. And then we move into April, and April we've got our first in-person event, customer
The
strategy and planning.
the virtual one, like you say, is great. Let's be honest. I think if most people are working with two monitors, right? So you can have on one of them the conference, and you might have highlighted some things that you're really going to go to, and then for the other ones, there's nothing better than just having your face popping up now and again on the other monitor.
So someone else's face is better than mine, Martin. I'm pretty sure. And there's a clever team at the forum, and it's one of
Well,
them. It's that there's a wealth of experience, and the virtual one means we can bring a lot of our members together as
yeah.
well, and especially get them to share their stories. So there'll be a number of different panel discussions. It won't all be led by the forum team. It will be led by other practitioners within the industry that are doing some great stuff, that are willing to share their knowledge and share their challenges and how they've overcome them. And that for me is the beauty of it, that it's not just me standing there
Mm.
talking. It's other people bringing their perspective, bringing their stories, and bringing them to life for the people that are watching, which is just for us, it's brilliant.
I think the sheer amount of stuff that you're doing and the extent to which, like you said earlier, you're going into real detail. These are like training events, so you absolutely gain something from it. And I love how innovative you guys are. Not, it was only a couple of months ago you did something that no one had done before at the expo, the training workshops, and I think all of these things show everyone, the organization that you are, that you're about working best practice into reality, helping people get better, and doing it in innovative, informative, and entertaining ways. You mentioned something earlier around, even today you've spoken to four different member organizations, and surprise, surprise, they AI wasn't one of the topics. And you also said that whilst there's some use of it, it's not really fully evolved yet to be able to lead to case studies and things like that. When you're looking at the discussion topics of the what you're having with your members, are the topics wildly different from, you're 25 years in now. Are they wildly different, or is it variations of the same themes?
But it's typically variation of the same things, right? So we have, as a industry, there's always the same enduring challenges. We've talked about it quite a bit, right? So especially the last couple of years, where everyone's going, "Oh, we've got to think about the contact center of the future." And obviously, last year our theme was shape the future, right? So you kind of go, okay, so but to shape the future, we sometimes got to understand the things that have happened. But when you start looking back, you start going, what are the enduring challenges that we have now? In you know, kind of I'm putting a blanket kind of out here,
Mm.
but we see absence, right, as an enduring challenge, continues to be an enduring challenge across the industry. It might not be in some organisations, but if you look at it, the challenge, the conversation that comes up a lot of the time, attrition, right, attraction. All these things continue to be enduring challenges. Technology is an enduring challenge. It's just a different type of technology. If you go back when we first started putting IVRs in, for example, that was a challenge for some people. Then we put in things like WFM systems. That was a challenge for people. That took a while to kind of get there, and we started seeing the benefits from it. Analytics came in. All these things. There's always been something that's challenged the way we think, or the way we behave, or the way we act within the industry. But technology is an enduring challenge. We'll always have to
Mm,
deal with that. We'll always have to deal with people because we're a people business. So that challenge never goes. So people still want to be developed. They still want to be coached. You're still going to get people that, are not the best fit for your organisation. You're going to get people that aren't going to turn up for work. Those things never go anywhere. So it's how we deal with those things and how we can support people. That's where we're seeing that shift more to a people focused approach to different things, whether that's scheduling, whether that's absence management, holiday planning, whatever it might be. We are seeing a more people focused, but those challenges have never gone anywhere really. They're just different. It's just a different generation or a different era, but they're still there. The other challenge that we always see is that it's just a cost. Cost and money and budgets, right? That's never gone anywhere. I've had the conversation with organisations since early 2000s around how do I deliver that service level when my budget's X, right? Guess what? I had a conversation this week about how do I deliver that service level when my budget's X. That's 25 years of, the same
mm,
conversation. So that doesn't go anywhere. Um, you know, so I think understanding that and finding ways to work around and mitigate those challenges is what then stands you in good stead for doing the stuff that you want to do. Because we don't be, essentially running around at a problem that we're never going to fix. You know what I mean? We're never going to fix a people issue in terms of absence. It'll always be there because people are always going to phone in sick.
mm, mm.
People are always going to have an emergency because with people, on average, what, 2 to 3 a year you might have,
Yeah.
your car breaks down or your boiler's broken down or, electricity's gone off, Wi-Fi's gone off, whatever it is, right? These little things that happen, that stop, they're never going anywhere. We can never fix any of those problems. What we can do now is we've got the ability and we should have the capability within our operating model to be flexible with people and not as rigid in what we're doing, letting them have some of those kind of, more flexible scheduling, more freedom in terms of when the work and how the work and what the work. And these things can be done if we just open our minds to kind of then those problems that are enduring, not necessarily look after themselves, but become less of a headache to chase.
Mm. Do you think leading a contact center or leading teams in contact centers is more of a challenge now than it was?
Yeah, I would say yes, and probably for the wrong reasons. I'd say yes, right? The reasons being, everyone's much more aware now. I think generationally, we're much more aware. I think the way society is going, we've got to be a lot more considered. And I'm not saying the way we were in the past was better. We were just less considered in the way we approach people, the way we approach things, the things you could get away with, right? Which you wouldn't get away with today. And I'm not saying, you know,
Yeah,
about harking back and being
I know exactly what you mean. You're not
not,
saying it was better then. It was just
it,
clearer, maybe.
clear is probably, I don't know if the word clear is there, but we probably didn't have to think about as much as what we've got to think about now. So in terms of are we including everybody? Are we doing the right thing for everybody? We used to do very much well, in a lot of organizations and not just contact centers, it was very much a one size fits all for the way that
Mm,
you got
yeah.
developed, the way you got trained, the way you kind of did your shift. It very much, it was, this is the way we do things. If you don't like it, bugger off, right? And pretty much that's how it was for a long time. I think now we have to be more considerate about individual need. We are more considerate about individual need. We're more considerate about different belief systems and different lifestyle choices and all these things that we probably didn't think about or consider because we just created an operating model that says this is the way we work and I don't care who you are. You have to fit into that
Yeah.
operating model. Now we've got to consider different things because, rightly so, there's more route to challenge now. There's more protection for people for different things, whether that legal or regulatory or whatever it is. There's more protection stuff. So we've got to be, we've got to know a lot more than we did before to be able to run an effective operation now. So I think it becomes tricky, and that's at every level. It's when we speak to customers, we've got to be different in terms of the way we approach people because we've got to have that same level of understanding for what our customers are. If you're a team leader, you've got a small team, you've got as an operational, you've got so all these things mean that there's a lot more going on in our heads that we've got to think about and understand what the downstream impacts would be for some of the decisions that we make.
I I I I love that answer, and I think as society progresses for the better, um, these kind of considerations and nuances, and making sure you're there for people and communicating a certain way and leading them a certain way to best work with someone, encourage them, and develop them. This greater understanding of whether it is how people communicate, whether they have ADHD, or all of these different types of things are far more challenging, as you say, because these are not. This is not just a you are an employee. This is the way we do it. Get on with it. It's far more inclusive, and we're better for that as a society. And it's not just our industry, but when you look at the concept of work. But what it does do, I think, for leaders is they have so much more to understand, to learn, to apply, which is why organizations like the Forum have never been more important, in my opinion, because you can't do this on your own. There is someone that has faced this challenge that you are facing, that has gone through some pain and found a really great way of turning that challenge into something really positive. The forum of the people that you can go and find them, right, and hear their story, and then go into detail of how you can apply that to your own contact center. You can't do this kind of stuff on your own. You need to find people that have done it.
I think for me, that's the beauty of our community, that we've got a really open community that are willing to share, but also willing to challenge, and I think that's the key thing. They can challenge each other's thinking. They can challenge in the right way. Do you know what I mean? We don't have people arguing. That's not what we're about. But what we've got is a really inclusive community that can ask the right questions. They can challenge thinking if they think that, it's wrong. They can provide their answers, share their stories, share their solutions. And that's the beauty of it, that we have that open space. And because we I can harp on about it, but it's because I believe in it so much, is that if we sit with our ethos of being a learning organization primarily, right? And then the other stuff is just stuff that we do to help enable learning, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, we don't go into it going, right, we're an events organization and we need to sell loads of tickets to stuff because we need to make money. We kind of look at it the other way around and go, we're a learning organization. We want people to learn. How can we best enable that? And we do that in cost effective ways, or we do it in low cost ways, and people have got an opportunity. It's not a one size. So if people want to come and see us face to face, come and see us face to face. If you want to pick up the phone and just speak to us, pick up the phone and speak to us. If you want to sit on the back of a networking group and just listen to other people talking about it and not get involved, that's fine. We don't force anybody to do anything they don't want to do. And it's why we create so many different opportunities to enable that learning, whether it's the best practice guide, whether it's articles, whether it's little videos, doesn't matter what it is. But we're trying to make it as easy as possible for people to learn. And then you engage in that learning in the way that you feel comfortable with. If you want to come and share, come and share. If you don't have to. We're not a cult, right? We kind of keep saying that. It's one of them. We just want to make the industry better, and that's what drives our purpose. And if that purpose then sits, that learning is the purpose that we sit behind. Everything else on the kind of the outside of that is how do we enable people to learn, and that's why we do the stuff that we do, and that's why I, I get so kind of passionate about it. I get annoyed when I see mixed messages. I get annoyed when I kind of see that. I'm not saying our way is the right way. I'd never say that, but I think our way of discussion and collaboration and problem solving in that kind of hive mind way, and then being able to pull that out and go based on true accounts, true reflections, true failures, true successes. This is what's happening right now and what we can do to try and improve it. I think that's what we do really well.
I couldn't agree more. And you mentioned earlier as well that you're in now to the awards where, again, everything you've just said then is a chance for people to kind of map that out and for others to learn from it at the same time as people being recognized for what they've done. So how's that going?
Brilliant. It's really good. I mean, we're only the first weekend, and to say it's difficult already is an understatement. It's going to be a tricky one, but this year, I mean, it goes to show that people want to share their stories, right? We've had more entries in our awards this year than we've ever had in 25 years, right? So, and we've got a short list bigger than we've ever had in the past, right? Now, what you've got to then do is pull out the learning from all that. Right. So we do ours very differently to a lot of other organisations that do industry awards. So we don't necessarily categorise in the same way some do. We read a story, we watch a video. So our process is send us a little form with what your story is about, then send us a video with a bit more detail, 10 minutes long. We share that amongst us, the judges. We then shortlist on the back of that, and then we invite the people that we've shortlisted to go onto a call. Now, those calls are really, really informative, right? So
Mm.
it's opportunity. We've already seen what they've written. We've already seen what they've shown us in the video. So it's an opportunity just to ask some questions, really, dig a bit deeper into some of the things that they've said. And then for our best practice, or the Innovation Awards, it's very much we're talking to the Innovation Transformation Awards, that bit of what we do. We're very much talking organisation around how they've challenged thinking, collaborated, changed, whatever they've done. Our partnership awards then are looking at the people that are working together. So it could be a supplier and a thing, it could be an outsourcer and a client, it could be whatever it is, where there's been a good partnership. We've got a really interesting one in this year where it's a group of people that have come together to solve problems together. So a little bit of an offshoot from our
Mm.
community where they've made relationships and then they've come together and done some problem solving. It's really interesting story, right? Around people working together in the industry from different organisations to solve common challenges. So we see a lot of stuff. And then the best practice awards, so that's where we're looking at teams and individuals. They, are for me the best, one of the best award conversations you'll have because we don't just invite a finalist onto that call, we'll invite two or three finalists together and some of their stakeholders. And it turns into a massive networking group, right? Of people going, oh, what have you been up to? Well, I've done this, right? And the finalists are learning from each other. The judges are learning from the finalists. We're learning from everybody. And then you've got some great case studies and some great topics and some great stuff that come out of the back of it. So we do all this stuff and all back to my original point is how do we draw the learning out that we can then share with the industry going forward, and that for us it just makes it. And then when we get to the end of this process of conversations, as we call it, it's not really judging, right? When we get to the end of this process of conversations, we have a difficult decision to make then of going, right, who do we recognize, what are the
Mm.
differentiators between A, B, C, and that's where the tricky work begins. But just I mean, I think our process is one of the, it's just such an opportunity for everybody involved to learn from each other. The judges come back year on year because they learn so much from it. We get people that apply year on because they learn so much from the other finalists that are going through the process. We don't shut it down. It's not a competition. We never have it like that. It is very much what are we learning and how can we learn from each other. And some of the feedback we've had this week's been phenomenal so far.
Well, in this little flight of fantasy I'm going to go on, yeah, I'm a finalist, right?
Yes.
I would love the opportunity to hear what the other finalists have done
Hmm.
and to learn from them. Because let's be honest, I think most people go into it, of course they want to win, but most people go into it, it's already great to know they're part of it. But most people they're in that position because they've got a growth mindset and they're wanting to learn
Yeah.
anyway. And it's very rare that you would get the opportunity to hear what other people have done that might be technically you're in competition with, but it's more about collaborative competition. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I would. If I was a finalist, I'd love to be part of this process to hear what other finalists have done and learn from them. So it's not just a one and done. Thank you very much. I've got it. I'm not gonna get any better from now on. So I think it's brilliant. When does it all culminate?
So we'll announce the winners on the 29th after our in-person event in Newcastle. So we have our in-person event on the 29th. So there's a day of collaboration before that. So a day of collaboration and learning, probably somewhere between 300 and 400 people. Will be there for the day. And then most people stick around for the evening and have a nice old jolly old knees up. And then we'll announce some winners and we'll have a party. It's the best Tuesday night of the year, I guarantee.
Exactly. And of course, you downplayed. You are you going to MC?
Well, yes, I will be doing it.
Good.
I've got a couple of surprises lined up as well for people that are coming. So if you are listening to this and you are coming, there's some surprises coming your way.
Oh, that sounds awesome. That sounds amazing. Um, Chris, we will definitely have to do this again, and not just. This isn't because I had a gap, by the way. I just want to put that out
I
there.
am.
That was a few years ago, but we want to do some regular touch points where we come in and just hear what's been going on. The forum is so busy and 100% committed to making our industry better. You mentioned that people could download the best practice guide from the
Yeah,
website.
yeah. Their website's theforum.social. Sure you can
And
sure you can put it in the links or something, Martin. I'm sure none of your technical expertise.
just in terms of talking to you, maybe if they're not members and want to be members, just via LinkedIn.
Yeah, so on our website, my contact details are on there. You can find me on LinkedIn. I'm always open for chatting, so feel free to do that.
100%. And Chris, thank you very much. Worthy of the title legend, and not just in your local village.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you, mate.
Cheers, buddy. Speak to you soon.